Hey, Cowboys fans! Today, we dive deep into the turbulent season that has left the defensive side of Dallas team in the spotlight for all the wrong reasons. From the very beginning, there were signs that something was off. It wasn't just a few missed tackles or an unlucky turnover here and there. The struggles felt systemic. Games that should have been tightly contested often spiraled out of control, with opponents racking up points seemingly at will. Every week brought moments that were difficult to watch, as the defensive lineup seemed unable to adjust to anything thrown at them. The combination of blown coverages, missed assignments, and slow reactions turned what should have been competitive contests into one-sided affairs. Frustrating both fans and analysts alike, there was a sense that despite the talent on the roster, the pieces were not functioning as a cohesive unit, and the results were painfully visible on the scoreboard. The defensive collapse was not limited to a single matchup or bad luck. Week after week, the Cowboys' opponents found weaknesses and exploited them relentlessly. Against divisional rivals and powerhouse teams alike, the defense struggled to contain explosive plays, often giving up long drives that seemed to crush momentum in an instant, even when adjustments were attempted during games. They often came too late or failed to address the core problems. Watching the offense pour in points only to see the defense surrender leads created an emotional roller coaster for the fan base. The imbalance was stark. Quarterbacks and receivers were executing at high levels. Running backs were breaking through gaps, but the defensive lapses erased much of that hard work. It became painfully clear that the defense was the Achilles heel of a team that otherwise had the tools to compete. Looking at the numbers, the season reads like a cautionary tale. The Cowboys allowed over 500 points, setting a record no one wanted to see, historically. Even when the league favored high-scoring games, Dallas had never reached this threshold. Every defensive metric told the same story: struggles against the pass, vulnerability to the run, missed tackles, blown assignments, and a lack of consistency. The inability to stop opponents on critical downs cost the team multiple games that could have swung in their favor with even marginally better execution. The magnitude of these struggles made the decision to make leadership changes unavoidable. It wasn't just about one coordinator. It was about accountability and ensuring that systemic issues are addressed before they become entrenched. Personnel challenges compounded the struggles. Injuries, mismatches, and a lack of depth in key positions made it difficult for the team to execute effectively. A coordinator can only do so much if the players cannot respond to schemes, or if the unit is constantly reacting rather than anticipating. That said, coaching decisions play a crucial role in shaping performance. Adjustments, communication, and preparation are the backbone of a successful defense. When these elements were missing, the team was left vulnerable. Fans watched drives that should have been stopped turn into touchdowns, drives that should have been contained extend to field goals, and moments where momentum slipped away entirely. Each misstep amplified the frustration, making it clear that improvement required more than just minor tweaks. It required a structural overhaul. This season also highlighted the disparity between the offense and the defense in a way that was impossible to ignore. The offensive unit often played at an elite level, producing yardage and scoring points at a pace that should have carried the team, yet the defensive shortcomings consistently undermined these efforts, forcing the offense into constant catch-up mode. Every touchdown surrendered, every big play allowed, and every missed assignment on defense magnified the challenge. Fans saw glimpses of what this team could be when both sides of the ball perform in harmony, but the gap between the offense's productivity and the defense's instability became the defining narrative of the season. It was a stark reminder that football success depends on balance, communication, and the ability to execute as a unit. Leadership on the defensive side was a critical factor in this season's struggles. The coordinator's role is to orchestrate schemes, communicate adjustments, and prepare players for the nuances of each matchup. When those elements falter, even the most talented roster can struggle. Throughout the season, there were clear moments where adjustments were either too slow or non-existent, leaving players to react in real time. Without a clear plan, this not only affected the defensive performance, but also put additional pressure on the offense, forcing them into high-stress situations repeatedly. The result was an environment where consistency was impossible, and mistakes were magnified with every snap. It became evident that the team needed a leader who could bring clarity, discipline, and strategic foresight to every defensive scenario. The repercussions of this historic defensive underperformance extend beyond wins and losses. A season like this forces an organization to evaluate its entire approach to personnel, strategy, and preparation. It's no longer a matter of patching problems. It requires a comprehensive reassessment of the roster, schemes, and coaching philosophy. Finding the right leader to guide this transformation is crucial. The Cowboys are tasked with identifying someone who can not only implement effective strategies, but also inspire confidence, accountability, and resilience in the players. Every decision moving forward, drafting, signing, and developing talent will intertwine with this leadership choice, influencing the trajectory of the team for years to come. The pressure to get it right is immense, but so is the opportunity to reshape the defensive identity and restore competitiveness. With every game that unfolded this season, the narrative became increasingly clear. Defensive lapses can undo even the most impressive offensive performances. Quarterbacks reading defenses, running backs breaking through lanes, and wide receivers making clutch plays were not enough to offset the relentless pressure of defensive breakdowns. Each failure underscored the importance of cohesion, anticipation, and execution. While some individual performances were commendable, football is the ultimate team sport, and the lack of synchronization on the defensive side proved catastrophic. The Cowboys now have a moment to reflect, analyze, and rebuild, aiming to create a defense that complements the offense and allows the team to compete at the highest level consistently. As the Cowboys look toward the future, the focus shifts from the mistakes of the past to the blueprint for a defense that can compete in every game. Rebuilding this unit will not be a quick fix. It requires a combination of strategic planning, precise coaching, and player buy-in at every level. Every position on the field needs evaluation. The defensive line must assert control over the line of scrimmage, forcing disruptions and creating pressure without overcommitting. Linebackers need to display versatility, balancing coverage responsibilities with the ability to stop the run and fill gaps effectively. The secondary must tighten communication and close windows that opponents exploited repeatedly. This season, each layer of the defense must operate in sync to prevent the breakdowns that defined so many past games. And achieving that coordination will take deliberate effort and consistent leadership. The search for a new defensive coordinator is pivotal, and it carries implications far beyond schematics and play calling. This hire will define the tone of accountability, the culture of preparation, and the development of young players. Experience alone is not enough. Adaptability, creativity, and the ability to communicate complex concepts clearly will determine whether this coordinator can turn around a historically struggling unit. Past failures remind the organization of the cost of rushed decisions, and the importance of a comprehensive process cannot be overstated. The right candidate will not only design effective schemes, but also foster resilience and confidence in the players, ensuring that mistakes are minimized and adjustments are made in real time. In tandem with leadership changes, talent development becomes a cornerstone of rebuilding. Several players have shown flashes of potential, but without a clear vision and structured coaching, these abilities, when underutilized, veterans will need to take on mentorship roles, guiding younger players and establishing standards for accountability and performance. The new defensive philosophy must be communicated effectively to every member of the roster, creating alignment and understanding so that execution is consistent under pressure. Injuries and situational challenges will still arise, but a cohesive and well-prepared unit can absorb adversity without falling apart, turning potential weaknesses into manageable obstacles. The stark contrast between the offense and defense this season highlighted the consequences of imbalance. The offense demonstrated the ability to produce at a high level, moving the ball efficiently and scoring with consistency, yet every effort was undermined by defensive lapses, creating situations where the Cowboys were forced into high-risk strategies just to remain competitive. This imbalance emphasizes that true success in the National Football League is not measured solely by one unit's performance but by the ability of both sides to operate at a high level simultaneously. The new defensive coordinator will be tasked with bridging that gap, ensuring that the offense's productivity is supported and that the team can sustain drives, protect leads, and control the tempo of games beyond immediate tactical concerns. The season serves as a reminder that organizational cohesion is critical. Decisions made in the front office, including personnel evaluations, draft selections, and free agent acquisitions, intersect directly with coaching effectiveness. A coordinator can implement schemes and call adjustments, but the roster must provide the tools necessary to execute those plans. Identifying weaknesses in coverage, building depth along the line, and strengthening the secondary are all integral to creating a defense capable of contending consistently. The team must take a holistic approach, combining leadership, talent development, and strategic vision to build a sustainable foundation for success. Historical context further emphasizes the urgency of change. Allowing over 500 points in a single campaign is unprecedented for the Cowboys, and it signals that systemic problems must be addressed while coaching performance played a role. The challenge is extended across multiple facets of the organization. Personnel mismatches, gaps in depth, and inconsistent execution compounded the difficulties. Recognizing the interconnected nature of these issues is critical for implementing meaningful change. The Cowboys cannot rely on quick fixes or isolated improvements. The path forward requires comprehensive planning, accountability at every level, and a commitment to building a culture of discipline and adaptability. Speculation about potential candidates for the defensive coordinator position has already generated significant debate among fans and analysts. Experience versus innovation, immediate impact versus long-term vision, and tactical proficiency versus leadership skills are all factors being weighed. The ideal hire will embody a balance of these qualities, bringing not just strategic knowledge, but also the ability to inspire confidence, instill discipline, and adapt dynamically to game situations. History has shown that even talented defenses can falter without strong guidance, and the Cowboys now face the challenge of selecting a leader who can transform not only the defense, but the culture of accountability. Across the unit, the players themselves will play a crucial role in this transition. Implementing a new defensive system requires commitment, focus, and adaptability from every individual. Veterans must demonstrate leadership and set the standard for execution, while younger players must embrace learning quickly and understanding their responsibilities. Within the system, success will depend on collective buy-in, with every player understanding how their role contributes to overall performance. Football is a team sport, and while coaching sets the vision, execution lies with the athletes. This season served as a reminder of the consequences when execution falters, reinforcing that progress requires cooperation, discipline, and focus at all levels. The ripple effects of a defensive overhaul will influence every aspect of the Cowboys season: game planning, practice priorities, personnel management, and situational adjustments will all be shaped by the new approach. Anticipating opponents, responding to in-game developments, and maintaining composure under pressure are critical to establishing a reliable and competitive defensive identity. Fans have witnessed the gap between potential and performance, and expectations for immediate improvement are high. Yet sustainable success will come not from quick fixes, but from strategic foresight, disciplined execution, and the ability to learn from past mistakes. The organization's commitment to these principles will determine whether the next season marks a turning point or a repeat of historical struggles. Before we roll on, subscribe to Cowboys Wire News, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Your support keeps the Dallas Cowboys updates coming. Tell us what you think in the comments. Whispers are swirling through the NFL community as one of the league's most electrifying wide receivers, George Pickens, reportedly suffered a concussion and may not see the field again until March, potentially impacting the Dallas Cowboys' off-season plans. Sources close to the situation suggest that the severity of the injury has forced the team and medical staff to take a cautious approach, emphasizing player safety above all else. While nothing has been officially confirmed by the Cowboys front office, insiders hint that Pickens' recovery timeline could reshape expectations for both the team and fans alike. Pickens, known for his acrobatic catches and game-changing plays, has been a focal point of speculation since the injury news leaked. Analysts are already debating how his absence might affect the Cowboys' offensive schemes, especially in the passing game. Could this lead to an increased role for younger receivers on the roster? Or might the team look to make a splash in the draft or free agency to fill the void? The uncertainty surrounding his return has ignited conversations across sports networks, fan forums, and social media, with supporters expressing concern but also trust in the team's medical staff to manage his recovery prudently, adding fuel to the rumor mill. Some insiders speculate that Pickens' concussion could be more complex than typical head injuries, necessitating a slower reintegration into contact drills. While March is being floated as a potential return window, the exact timeline remains murky, and the Cowboys might be keeping their cards close to their chest to avoid media pressure. The situation has already sparked debates among commentators about the league's handling of concussions, with Pickens' case becoming yet another example of the delicate balance between competitive drive and long-term health. For now, the sports world is left to wonder when exactly will George Pickens take the field again, and what ripple effects will his absence have on the Cowboys' strategy as the rumor gains traction. All eyes remain on team insiders and medical updates, waiting for a clearer picture of the recovery path for one of football's most dynamic playmakers. Until then, speculation continues to dominate discussions, keeping fans and analysts alike on edge over the future of Pickens and the Cowboys' offensive ambitions. That's a wrap from Cowboys Wire News. For breaking Cowboys updates, subscribe, drop a like, and turn on the bell. Tell us your take in the comments.